How are you? How are you? I hope you're doing great. My name is Tamika Collins, and this is my YouTube page. You can follow me on my Facebook as Tamika Collins. You can follow me on TikTok as Coffee, COFEPH. You can follow me on my Instagram as Coffee Sings, COFEPHSINGS, all one word. And we are reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And y'all, guess what? We on the last two chapters. But before we get to that, we have got to recap chapters 47 and 48. Because, that's what I like to do. I like to catch you up on abreast of what we've been doing here. Okay, so Jacob blesses Pharaoh, and I feel that he blessed him. You know what I'm saying? People probably was like, why would he bless him? But he did it in gratitude for taking care of his child and his children and his family and all the people that needed grain. You see what I'm saying? I mean, even though it was God's divine, revelation for Joseph to know what to do. Thank you, Lord. You still got to be thankful. You still thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Because now they have moved into the land of Goshen. The people who are buying grain have ran out of money. So now they said, "Hey, we'll give you in exchange for our cattle and our gifts, and then their land." And now they have nothing, so they offer themselves as slaves to work for food and take care of their land, so that when the famine is over, they will still have something. Jacob has blessed Joseph's boys as if they were his boys before he dies, and he's made Joseph promise him that he will not bury him in Egypt. He's going to bury him back in where his ancestors came from Canaan. And Joseph promises. Jacob blesses Ephraim, who is the youngest, instead of blessing Manasseh, but he blesses both of them, but he blesses Ephraim, who is the youngest, because God had told him that, hey, his legacy and things will be greater than Manasseh or Manasseh, however you want to say it. I like both of them. So that's where we are. We are in chapters 49 and 50, and then we will be exiting out of Genesis and entering into Exodus. Okay, so let's read. Okay. So, chapter 48. One day, not long after this, word word came to Joseph, your father is failing rapidly. Oh, no, we already read that. Sorry, we in chapter 49. Did I say that? I'm sorry. We read 47, we read 48. So we in 49. I'm sorry. Then Jacob called together all his sons and said, gather around me, and I will tell you what will happen to each of you in the days to come. Come and listen, you sons of Jacob. Listen to Israel, your father. Reuben, you are the firstborn, my strength, the child of my vigorous youth. You are first in the rank and first in power, but you are as unruly as a flood. Woo. And you will be first no longer. For you went to bed with my wife. Oh, it came back to bite you. You defiled my marriage couch. Simeon and Levi are two of a kind. Their weapons are instruments of violence. May I never join in their meetings. May I never be a party of their plans. For in their anger they murdered men and then crippled oxen just for sport. A curse on their anger, for it is fierce, a curse on their wrath, for it is cruel. I will scatter them among the descendants of Jacob. I will disperse them throughout Israel. Judah, your brothers will praise you. You will grasp your enemies by the neck. All your relatives will bow before you. Judah, my son, is a young lion. The Lion of Judah, okay. That was finished eating his. Judah, my son, is a young lion that has finished eating its prey. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Like a lioness, who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from his descendants, until the coming of the one to whom it belongs. All right, Jesus. All right. The one whom all nations will honor. He ties his foal to a grapevine, the colt of his donkey to a choice vine. He washes his clothes in wine. His robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine. His teeth are whiter than milk. Zebulun will settle by the seashore and will be a harbor for ships. His borders will extend to Sidon. Issachar is a sturdy donkey, resting between two saddle packs. When he sees how good the countryside is and how pleasant the land, he will bend his shoulder to the load and submit himself to hard labor. Dan will govern his people like any other tribe in Israel. Dan will be a snake beside the road, a poisonous viper along the path that bites the horse's hooves, so its rider is thrown off. I trust in you for salvation, O Lord. Gad will be attacked by martyring bands, but he will attack them when they retreat. Asher will dine on rich foods and produce food fit for kings. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is the foal of a donkey, the foal of a wild donkey at a spring, one of the wild donkeys on the ridge. Archers attacked him savagely. They shot at him and harassed him, but his bow remained taut and his arms were strengthened by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob, by the shepherd, the rock of Israel. May the God of your father help you. May the Almighty bless you with the blessings of the heavens above, and blessings of the watery depths below, and blessings of the breast and womb. May my fatherly blessings on you surpass the blessings of my ancestors, reaching to the heights of the eternal hills. May these blessings rest on the head of Joseph, who is the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, devouring his enemies in the morning and dividing his plunder in the evening. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said as he told his sons goodbye. He blessed each one with an appropriate message. Then Jacob instructed them, soon I will die and join my ancestors. Bury me with my father and grandfather in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite. This is the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan that Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite as a permanent burial site. There Abram and his wife Sarah are buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah are buried, and there I buried Leah. It is the plot of land and the cave that my grandfather Abraham bought from the Hittites. When Jacob had finished this charge to his sons, he drew his feet into the bed, breathed his last, and joined his ancestors in death. Chapter 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. So Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days, and the Egyptians mourned his death for 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisors and said, please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear an oath. He said to me to listen. I am about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in the tomb I prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without delay. Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. Go and bury your father as he made you promise, he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by all of Pharaoh's officials. all the senior members of Pharaoh's house, and all the senior officials of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their households, but they left their little children and flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 70-day period of mourning for Joseph's father. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched them mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they renamed that place where it is now, which is near the Jordan, Abel Mezram, for they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for these Egyptians." So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site for Ephron the Hittite. Joseph reassures his brothers. So after burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all that had accompanied him to his father's burial. And now that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers became fearful. Now Joseph will show his anger and pay us back for all the wrong we had did to him, they said. So they sent this message to Joseph. Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, "Please forgive your brothers for the great wrong they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of the God of your father, beg you to forgive our sin." When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we are your slaves," they said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. So Joseph and his brothers and their family continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived to the age of 110. He lived to see 3 generations of descendants of his son Ephraim, and he lived to see the birth of the children of Manasseh's son Machir, whom he claimed as his own. "Soon I will die," Joseph told his brothers, "but God will surely come to help you and lead you out of this land of Egypt. He will bring you back to the land he solemnly promised to give Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear an oath. He said, "When God comes to help you and lead you back, you must take my bones with you." So Joseph died at the age of 110. The Egyptians embalmed him, and his body was placed in a coffin in Egypt. We finished, y'all. We have finished Genesis. All 50 chapters. Yay! Congratulations! All right, so the next thing is probably going to be a recap of all the chapters that we've read in Genesis to bringing us up to part 2, Exodus, because we are here, y'all. Okay, well, I hope y'all have a great rest of the day, night, afternoon, whatever, however, whenever, and we'll be back. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Peace.